What is going on, all you Pokemon collecting maniacs out there? This is Ryan, the PikaPikaPaPa, and you all know how excited I get about the beginning of every single month. I get to share with you all of the awesome pieces of cardboard, all of the awesome sealed products that I am actively going after for the month ahead. We also have our grading card video that is coming out. We also have our top 10 cards at TCG Player, which is going to come out as well. We start every single month off with a bang here in the PikaPikaPaPa space, and I just get so freaking excited. Now, I thought this was a really cool image to share here. Mr. Leonardo DiCaprio, never forget, bull markets make you money, but bear markets make you rich. Now, we are certainly not in the midst of a bear market here in the Pokemon space, but we are seeing a lot of sets that are starting to normalize after that pandemic pump, right? We've been doing a ton of data dives, a ton of research, and we're starting to see it, but that doesn't mean that there isn't tons and tons and tons of opportunity out there. When we're playing chess and everybody else is playing checkers and we're doing the data dives and we're identifying the trends, like we can find opportunity that nobody else sees, right? I am a big proponent of I don't always try and follow the herd. Now, that doesn't mean that I mindlessly wander in a different direction. Like, I always head in a different direction with purpose and with data, right? We always say this too. Data doesn't tell us what to do, but it certainly does tell us where to look. And you are going to see in the upcoming slides, we have a lot of cool places that we should be looking at for this month. Now, listen, with that being said, we do all kinds of fun stuff like this on the channel. If you like hearing more about the why instead of just the what, hey, listen, we are building an amazing community, and I would appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button. Questions or comments, drop them down below. And as always, if you like what you see, give us a thumbs up. Those three small things go a long way in helping out my small channel, and it just lets me know you appreciate the work that we put in here. So without further ado, let's get into this. So you all remember this. We did this a couple weeks ago, and what this is these are the 12 sets from the Sword and Shield era and the top 20 cards in them. And what we did was we looked at the prices from December of 2022 till today. And what this represents is the overall change in price. And you see that it has been a bloodbath for most of 2023 when it comes to the top 20 cards in all of these Sword and Shield sets. Now, what was interesting to me was to kind of see where the price depreciation was the highest. I mean, you see a lot of negative 10%, negative 20%, negative 30%. You get farther to the left, you see a lot of negative 40% and even some negative 50%. So to me, I was like, hey, what can I do with this? We expected some of this because some of these cards and these sets in December of 2022 were brand new. But what I ended up focusing on was this area right here, right? No surprise. This is where we see some gains. This is where we see some of the lower degree of depreciation over time. And so I thought, okay, let's take this learning. Let's assume that if these boxes and these sets, let's assume that their softness to the broader market changes continues over time, and it will kind of move to the left, right? Like, even Evolving Skies wasn't immune to all of the pressure that was going on in the card market. As you see, there's a lot of red there, a lot of cards that are down double digits plus. But my thought is that as they continue to age, as Scarlet and Violet continues to mature, as these boxes and sets and everything becomes more and more resistant or less likely to have a reprint or restock, I think that the market is going to continue to find value in them. And the Battle Styles box was actually the only one out of the whole Sword and Shield era where we saw the average top 20 card price appreciate over time. Now, so in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, where can I make some plays here? And I looked at Rebel Clash, and Rebel Clash is already over $200 per booster box. And then I didn't want to touch Sword and Shield because for the most part, you know, that's an over $200 box. Really only that Marnie has performed really well. And then Darkness Ablaze, I'm not touching that right now either. That is supposed to be a Charizard set, and that poor Charizard is down 40%. So that led me to Chilling Reign, Battle Styles, and Vivid Voltage. So what am I looking at this month? I am looking at these booster boxes, right? Battle Styles, remember what we just said, Battle Styles is the only set where we saw the top 20 cards average price increase so far in 2023, and guess what? It is still at $110 per booster box, right? Then we saw all kinds of strength from Chilling Reign. Chilling Reign is older than Evolving Skies. You know, Chilling Reign is starting to kind of get out of that era of, are they going to restock? Are they going to reprint? What's going on? I'm starting to think that as every single month that goes by, I'm feeling more and more confident that Chilling Reign might be kind of out of the woods when that comes to be. And again, you can pick this up for MSRP at the Pokemon Center. You can also pick this up on eBay for very competitive prices. And then Vivid Voltage too, right? Vivid Voltage was in that block of 3 that I was looking at, and I know it might not be the all-time best set, just like Battle Styles isn't, but guess what? It's still got Pikachu in there. It's still got some awesome pieces of cardboard in there, right? Like the Pokemon Center lady, all kinds of cool stuff, and I think Vivid Voltage is a really exciting price to at least take a look at it right now. So these 3 booster boxes are all on my radar for this month, and I think they're on the radar for all the right reasons. Now, we're going to continue to talk about Battle Styles, but we're going to talk about individual cards. So back on June 16th, we we did a whole video on undervalued full art trainers, and we said, okay, there's some cards out there that we think have the opportunity to pop off. We talked about Battle Styles and this Phoebe and this Cheryl, and at that time, these were the number 10 and the number 11 most valuable cards in that set, and we talked about what I just said. Hey, listen, Battle Styles might not be the most popular Sword and Shield set, but we took our learnings from Sun and Moon and we said, hey, listen, when they have awesome full art trainers, a lot of times the set might not be great, but the full art trainers perform really, really well. And back then, this card was at $14 for the Phoebe and $11 for the Cheryl. So now, guess what? I'm keeping them on my target list for this month. They weren't on my list the month before. They weren't on my list the prior month. But after 2 months, I feel like there's still some opportunity here. Now, just as we thought, these have appreciated, these have grown in the list of top 20 cards. The Phoebe went from number 10 to number 5 and is up 50% since our last video on them. And the Cheryl has moved from number 11 to number 8, up 21%. Now, the Phoebe had this really, really strong pop, but it has actually come back down a little bit. And that is why I still have it on here. I love the fact that it was up in the $24, $25 range, and now it's back down into the $18, $17 range. I think that is an awesome, awesome card to get, especially considering that Battle Styles is towards the very beginning of the Sword and Shield era. I think that for the Cheryl too, and I think the Cheryl is a great price to get in. I do think that Phoebe is going to end up 1, 2, or 3 in the Battle Styles set. Like, no offense to all the other awesome cards in Battle Styles, but I think the Phoebe checks all of those boxes, and I would not be surprised if Cheryl ends up in the top 5. And I do think that right now, again, with the age of the set, with everything that's going on in Scarlet and Violet, we have Pokemon 151 that's about to come out. I think both of these cards are very interesting looks for this month. I have a Phoebe at PSA right now. I have 4 Cheryls at PSA, so as always, I got my money where my mouth is, and I am very excited to continue to add to those cards. Now, the other one here, and this graph right here is something that we did like 3 or 4 months ago. So we did this whole data dive and we looked at booster packs, loose booster packs, not the sleeved ones, but loose booster packs versus sealed booster boxes. And we put out a ton of ratios, and we did it for the whole Sword and Shield and Sun and Moon era. And the really interesting thing to me was that Cosmic Eclipse had the lowest ratio out of all of them. It doesn't matter it doesn't matter if you talked about Team Up, it doesn't matter if you talked about Unified Minds, it doesn't matter Lost Thunder, all of them. Out of all of them, Cosmic Eclipse had the lowest ratio, which basically meant the cost of the booster pack versus the cost of the booster box was the lowest, which was amazing because Cosmic Eclipse is an epic set, right? And here on the right, I have all of the most recent booster box price sales for eBay. And you'll see that, listen, look, there's 3 of them that are over $1,000. One's at $999, $923, $900, $924. I mean, this is getting close to us being able to say, hey, listen, this is a $950,000 box. And yet, despite that, these booster packs are still being sold for $15 a pop. And I think that's because you can still get these booster packs because this was the very last set in Sun and Moon. You can still find these booster packs out in the wild, right? Some people were finding them in Pokeballs. I know that there were some in the Orbeetle tins. They got restocked at Target, the Arceus V-Box. Like, I think that is continuing to keep these packs at a little bit of a depreciated price. Now, what I think is going to happen is once all of these start to flush out, right? Like once all of these boxes with these packs start to disappear, I think that this pack is going to realign with the price point of all of the other ones in Sun and Moon, right? I mean, think about it. Cosmic Eclipse is so freaking epic. It is just an amazing set with amazing cardboard. The fact that this is so low compared to where the booster box is just absolutely blows my mind. And I will say this, I looked at TCG Player, there's some super reputable sellers on there who are selling loose booster packs for $15. And I do want to say this, I know you can weigh booster packs, like I know that's part of the game, but the reality is this, you can weigh all of the booster packs that we used in our comparison when we were looking at loose booster packs versus booster boxes. And even though that's factored in, the market knows it happens, you and I know it happens, even though we know all of that, this was still the lowest ratio. So I 100% think that over the next couple months, or at least when the products start to flush out of the market, these Cosmic Eclipse booster packs are going to come back in line with all the other Sun and Moon sets, and I think these are going to jump in price, and I am adding to my current collection. I already have, I don't know, like 15 or 20 of these, and I'm going to continue to add more because I think that's an awesome opportunity. I think there's huge upside in the future for these. Now, the very next thing that I'm talking about right here is this beauty. And I know she looks like she's got a black eye, but I think that she is going to absolutely pop all of the cards in front of her. No offense to you, Leon, but I think she's going to jump you in the race. Like, hey, listen, we talked about Vivid Voltage, right? We talked about the Pokemon Center Lady and the Pikachu and the Nessa. Like, I think those cards are obviously going to be the top, and I think the Rainbow Pikachu as well. But the fact that this card is in the number 15 slot right now, the fact that you can get this for $5, I would not be surprised. No offense to all the cards above her, but they don't exactly pop off on any of our, most popular Pokemon list. The Rainbow cards haven't had a good history of holding into the top 10 spots, so I wouldn't be surprised if this beauty comes out of left field And it might not be a 10, 15, 20, well, it might be a $10 card, but it might not end up being a 15, 20, $30 card. It might not be a card that funds your child's, future college fund or anything like that. But when you think about protecting the downside, this card's only $5, right? Like, I think this is an awesome card. I've got a couple in PSA 10. I also have 2 at PSA right now. I'm very, very excited about the prospects of this card, and I always love it when we can add some value cards to this list, because that's part of the fun of collecting, right? It shouldn't just all be about booster boxes for $140 and cards for $50 and slabs. Like, this is a really cool card that you can add to almost any collection, and I do think that this has a ton of upside in front of it. Now, this is going to surprise everybody. You might be asking, hey, why is Pokemon TCG Classic on your target list for September, right? Well, I'm going to tell you why. Here's why. First and foremost, it says it's going to be launched late in 2023, right? Now, Paradox Rift is coming out in November of 2023, and the pre-orders for Paradox Rifts are already out there, right? Like, the Paradox Rift Elite Trainer boxes on the Pokemon Center are already sold out for pre-order. Doesn't mean that they're not going to come back in stock. They probably will, but they've already been launched and they've already been sold out. So think about this. This is going to launch in late 2023. There's not a lot of 2023 left after November. There's one freaking month, right? So in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, they're going to want to launch this product in plenty of time to give people the opportunity to buy it heading into Christmas. So since Paradox Rift has already been launched for pre-order on the Pokemon Center, and it launches in November, my gut is that in sometime in September, we will see the Pokemon TCG Classic set on the Pokemon Center for pre-order. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't necessarily love this product. I don't. This is something that I would buy some of. I don't know if I would take a huge position in it. But I don't know if there's enough there for me to say, hey, listen, this is an incredible investment product for the long run. And the things that I don't love about it, right, there's no packs. I mean, I guess each deck is its own specific promo, but there's no metal cards like we saw in the Ultra Premium collection from Celebrations, like that Charizard and that Pikachu are incredible cards. There's no metal cards. There's no like special promos besides the decks. It's really just these decks and then this upscale playing format. You have these aluminum damage counters and you have this really cool play mat, and not even a play mat, like a play area that you get to play on. It's not really a UPC set, right? It's not really an Ultra Premium collection set. It doesn't come from Celebrations. It doesn't come from, Sword and Shield. It's not like the Charizard box, right, that we saw. And it's really just another Gen 1 remake. But you might be saying, hey, you just said all these things that you don't like about it. Why in the world are you even dipping a toe in? Well, because I like enough about it to take a position in it, right? I like it's another Gen 1 remake. Like, I'm allowed for that to be on both sides of the fence. I hate it, but I also love it at the same time. I also love the fact that this is going to have a really high price tag to it, right? Like, it's launching in Japan, and we know it's going to be about 240 USD over there. So I would expect it to be 250, something like that around here. And I think that's going to lead to some exclusivity. I think it's going to lead to some scarcity. I think it's going to lead to a lot of people wanting to pile into it. So I'm certainly going to buy a couple of these for that reason. And I also think that because the price point is so high, because the materials that are used in this are so high end, I do think that there could be a lower print run of this than we typically see in the Pokemon products. And I also think, again, because of the quality of the materials that is used in this, I don't think we're going to see a lot of restocks or reprints. I mean, I think this would be a very challenging product to quote-unquote reprint. So I think what we see through the holiday season will probably be the bulk of what we're going to see in the long run. And at the end of the day, listen, you got Blastoise, you got Charizard, you got Venusaur, you got all these awesome Gen 1 Pokemon in here. So I would be remiss if I didn't buy this. Worst case scenario for me is it doesn't gain a whole lot of money. Worst case scenario is we open it with the kids. We have an awesome place to play Pokemon. I always talk about the downside risk. I think there is zero downside risk in this. I think this is an awesome product, and it is absolutely on my buy list this month. Now, listen, with all of that being said, as I said in the beginning, we have some awesome videos coming up, right? The grading card video, the TCG top 10 video, like all kinds of cool stuff. And if you made it this far and you haven't hit the subscribe button yet, what are you doing? Hit that subscribe button. If you like what you saw, give us a thumbs up. Questions or comments, drop them down below. And as always, I appreciate you, and you guys have an epic one. Thanks, everybody. Bye.